Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Let's take a look at these Defiance funds. It's midday here. It's about 12:45 here in the Central Time Zone, 1:45 in the Eastern Time Zone. Market's open for another 2 hours and 15 minutes approximately. We'll see where we stand. All right, here's a chart of NASDAQ. Let's turn it on 30-minute bars and look at this profit box and see where we are in relation to where we need to be for our option trade to make a full profit. Okay, well, full profit is at the top line and we are above the top line. Full profit's at the top line or above. So we're good. Full profit on that one today. If we have to stay there until between now and 3 o'clock, remember these options expire at 3 o'clock. SPX, same thing. Strike price is the top line. They are above the top line, so that's a full profit for JEPY, who trades SPX options. Of course, QQQY trades NDX options. And then we have IWMY. Okay, and these guys started out with a loss this morning, but they're rallying, and they've turned their loss into a profit right now. So that's nice. Very, very nice. So let's do this now. We'll look at the 5-minute max spreadsheet, and we can see right now the current profit and loss for all of the funds is positive. Even IWMY, this option is a little bit in the money. It's 8.34 points in the money. It still has a current profit of showing of nearly $300,000. This is the profit and loss for the month for these funds. Triple QY, JEPY are positive, as is UOOY. IWMY is negative 1.8 million on the month right now, which equates to negative 16 cents a share. So these are the dividend estimates. So 82 cents for Triple QY, that's about average. 73 cents for JEPY, that's pretty good. 79 cents for IWMY is a little light. Now 236 for USOY. Let me check my numbers on that one. I just think that sounds high. Now let's look at USOY. Now USOY, just to refresh everyone's memory, trades weekly options on the oil market, the USO, which is like the SPY of the oil business. United States oil business is what that stands for. Well, in any event, their options don't expire every day. They expire Mondays and Wednesdays. So they don't do 5 trades a week. They do 2 or 3. So I'm not sure that the logic may be a little different. So I want to check my numbers here. So I'll have that updated by the end of the day, because that seems a little, 236 seems a little high. So let's not get excited about that yet. All right. So now let's look at these yield max stocks. Let's check out Tesla. Tesla is the most widely held yield max stock. So I'll usually start with Tesla, which is a high yield stock that trades options on Tesla. There's also a high yield stock that's an inverse fund that trades covered puts. It's the exact opposite of the covered call fund. Anyway, Tesla has one of each. The covered call fund is called Tesla. The covered put fund is called Crash, CRSH. Anyway, they're kind of the ideal thing that's happening to Tesla for somebody that's writing options, because the market's going nowhere. And that's actually kind of an ideal situation for writing options. It's right between all of the strikes. These are the bearish strikes, and it's above them. These are the bullish strikes, or I should say, this is the bearish strike. Those are the bullish strikes. Okay. Now we'll go check out NVIDIA. Now NVIDIA, YieldMax has a high yield fund called NVIDIA. Unfortunately, these guys just have one strike price at the 125 level. Probably by the end of the day, it'll be blowing out. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. All right. We'll see. But in any event, these guys have a little room for upside before their fund is capped out. Coinbase having a Nice day and is bouncing and rallying a little bit. Their one strike that they've sold, their one option is way out of the money. It's at 280 where the market's only trading at 250. That's 30 points. That's 12.5%. Exactly. That's a long way away. The amount of premium that they receive for this option represents an income that they can pay you, if you're a shareholder, of 73.84%. I mean, that's pretty darn good. All right, and we'll check out Master Strategies, MSTR. YieldMax has a high yield fund on this thing called Misty, MSTY. Now, these guys have a 2-strike ladder, and their strikes are way out of the money right now. This fund has plenty of room for upside appreciation before they're capped. It's about 200 points away, and what does that equal? 1/8. This is also about 12.5%. The math really worked out nicely on those two. Okay, let's just check out some other charts real quick. Let's look at Bitcoin and see what's happening. Pretty much gone straight sideways ever since that dump on Friday afternoon. It's trying to rally. We'll see what's going on with GME today. I actually haven't checked it yet. I have a trade on right now. I have a double diagonal on in real life, and I also have one on the option simulator. We'll probably have some content on that this afternoon. Let's check out, let's do this. Let's check out one other thing before I let you guys go. Check out Max's buffer report, where we see how much buffer these funds are exhibiting. Your fund has buffer if its underlying is down 15% and it's only down 10%. That's a 5% buffer. Covered calls give investors buffer. This chart just measures which ones have more buffer and which ones have less. All right, so first of all, I would say let's go over here to the right side of the screen. USOI and USOY are both USO covered call funds. I mentioned that USO was kind of like the SPY, the big ETF of the United States oil business. And sure enough, look at that. So this ETF gapped up this morning and just kept going from there, and it's now up 3%. Okay, now this is what the buffer report shows right here. This is going to be a good example. Underline's up 3.01%, right? The high yield fund, USOY, is only up 1.04% because it's buffered. See, buffer works both on the upside and the downside. You don't want buffer on the upside, but you get it. You can't do anything about it. You want buffer on the downside, but in other words, if the underline's down 3%, you would like your high yield fund to be down 0%, ideally, to have 3% worth of buffer. The thing is, buffer works on both sides. So if the fund, next time the market moves up and the market moves up 3% and your high yield fund doesn't move, it's because of the buffer. So, like I say, I track it because generally I think the better high yield funds have more buffer. So anyway, today, Triple QI is kind of the star of the day. Look, it's outperforming its parent asset. That's really impressive, as is ULTY, which is another Defiance fund. It's their riskiest, highest yield fund, but they're both just killing it today, as is YMAX. Okay, now on the bad side, TLTW, which is a covered call fund on the bond market, is actually doing poorly today. All right, so here's for the single names. All right, let's look at the bad standouts on the single names. They all have pretty good buffer. AMDY doesn't really have as much buffer as I'd like to see. It's down 4%. I mean, it's down 3.5% where its parent asset's down 4%. I think that MRNY, which is the Moderna high yield fund, is exhibiting better buffer right now, or PayPal, which is the PayPal high yield fund. Okay, well, on the upside, Coney, look at that, outperforming the parent asset. Nice job, as is NVIDIA, outperforming NVIDIA, as is Misty, outperforming Mr. Great job, guys. Very, very nice job. All right, I'll be back at the end of the day, and we'll look at the final. Numbers for these option trades. Then we'll also look at the buffer report, and we'll kind of see how all these funds ended up on the day. All right, guys. Well, I sure do appreciate you guys being here, and I will see you after the market closes. All right. Bye.